And Tolly, but before I ask the member to proceed, I would like to remind members that when dealing with clause 4 on the bill, we dealt with a number of amendments and have therefore taken some decisions as to the general direction of the bill, and therefore the discussion from now is quite likely to be quite narrow. And Tolly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Look, I just want to pick up on a couple of things that the previous speaker has said. First of all, she talked about good faith and trying to get agreement with the government. Now, I would have thought that if you're talking good faith and getting agreement from the government, that the first thing you'd come and do would be to come and talk to us.
I did.
And no one talked to me. So where is that good faith?
You're not the responsible minister.
Yep. Well,
I'm certainly not.
No, Mr. Chair. I do beg your pardon.
Thank you.
The previous speaker could have come and talked beforehand in time for the government to have the opportunity to discuss it, because that's my understanding of good faith. Is actually, it's not just about saying this is what we're going to do, what do you think? It's about a genuine conversation taking place and people having time to consider it and make the appropriate decisions. So that's just to put that on the table. But also when we're talking about paid parental leave, as we are in clause 5 and the duration of that, I just think that this House, before we get carried away with all the arguments, should focus on what exactly this government has done. And this government has pledged and budgeted for an extra $171.8 million over the next 4 years for paid parental leave enhancements.
I regret to interrupt the Honourable Minister, but I think I warned at the beginning that we're now on a quite narrow debate. And while I understand that the Minister is responding to the member and the Chair's comments, which I probably should have pulled up, I feel if I let her go on, I'm going to have to let everyone else get well away from it. And Tolly.
So, Mr. Speaker, my understanding looking at section 5 of the bill is we're talking about the duration of paid parental leave being extended to the maximum of 18 weeks and a maximum of 22 weeks and a maximum of 26 weeks. So we're talking about a progression of the rollout of paid parental leave. And that's what I want to address, because in fact this government has already agreed to that, and as I say, that is a considerable amount of money that this government has committed to extending paid parental leave. What we're saying is we are doing at the same time as that, rather than spending all the money on paid parental leave, we are doing other things as well. Indeed, around paid parental leave, as well as extending it, we're also extending the time, as in clause 5, we're also extending the reach of it, which is in an area that, like the one that I represent, where there's a lot of seasonal work, that is just as important as the length of time of the paid parental leave. So this government has said it isn't just about how long you get that paid parental leave, it's about who is eligible for it. That is just as important. So I appreciate it's a narrow discussion, Mr. Speaker, but it is an important concept that the government is being accused of not wanting to spend this money on protecting and giving our children a good start in life. And the government's position is we're saying, yes, of course we are, but we're doing it in another way around paid parental leave that isn't focused on just the length of time that you give it to a certain group of women. We are saying, yes, that's important, and we are agreeing and extending it, but we're also extending the scope of paid parental leave, which is just important. So another group of women are eligible for that paid parental leave, which is indeed what the member tried to do in the previous clause. So that's, Mr. Speaker, is an important fact to clause 5, that this government realises and does accept that we do need to extend the paid parental leave. We've set out a process to do that, but we are not dancing to the tune of this particular clause in this particular bill.
Materia Ture.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to